is this summit important for President Paul Biya?
Because our country is in economic difficulty, and when you have economic and financial difficulty, you are able, and it is recommended for you to go everywhere they talk about financial agreement.
And out of the country, U.S. President Joe Biden calls Chinese president a dictator. Get details in his newscast and in sports events. William Jabatu will be coming in with latest sport news. Ladies and gentlemen, those were the headlines. Details in a jiffy.
Maso, the special page in the news.
Onto one of our lead stories, testimonials of the goodness of the mutual assistance and solidarity Maso Act 2 are still flying high on the streets of Yaoundé and Cameroon at large as beneficiaries of Maso Classic during the July 9, 2022 ceremony loved the event, smiling with car keys among other rewards. 15 Ismaila is one of them, and he recounts his new status of a car owner in this report filed in by Eratus Dwe.
Being one of the brand new winner of a brand new car for the very first time after being raffled out as one of the winners during last year's Maso Act 2 ceremony, Fifen Ismaila is one of the beneficiaries who attests that his daily routine has changed even in his outer look.
Je vais être honnête avec vous, j'ai pris 1 gramme de plus.
I have gained weight after winning this vehicle in Act 2. I am doing great.
Je me sens bien.
His well-being and that of his family has greatly improved because of the painkiller that was given to them as a means to ameliorate their conditions, something which have been very evident.
J'ai relevé beaucoup de défis à partir de ce véhicule.
I've braved some challenges with the help of this vehicle, even those that were still pending. After winning this vehicle, I started taking care of my little problems I had that is becoming easy.
Je puis vous dire que je suis bien.
Inasmuch as the mutual assistance and solidarity is a shoulder for one to lean on, all beneficiary of a vehicle needs to fulfill a weekly payment of installments of 40,000 CFA francs, an aspect which Ismaila says he doesn't joke with.
You don't have to joke with the contribution. Someone can't help you and you manage to put something on your table as food. You don't think about the person who permitted you to eat, because if you see me shining, it means that I'm fine.
After working as a driver in Douala and in Yaoundé for a long period of time, Fifen Ismaila had never bought a car to call his own, but with the help of the mutual assistance and solidarity that permitted him to fulfill his dream that has come to reality, something that he vows never to leave Maso.
As long as I'm still alive, I will continue to be in Maso, because this man called Pastor Bisai Emmanuel Noel has given to the poor that we are, and he is giving to God. That's why I have written a loving message on my vehicle for him. I will be in Maso till I die.
The call has therefore been launched for anyone who wishes to stand a chance of benefiting from the overflow of Maso, with the deadline set for registration and contribution on the June 29th, 2023.
Eratus doing that report, assistance during matters that have to do with law is one of the advantages mutualists can benefit from. The mutual assistance and solidarity Maso. Frenwick Crispin in the following report shed light on the procedures to follow in order to benefit from this advantage.
Nowadays, most people have little or no knowledge about their rights, nor even the steps to follow when faced with cases that has to do with the law. Reason why the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity has taken the initiative of assisting its mutualists during law cases through the establishment of a team made up of legal minds. Here, the legal mind serves as guides and advisors to any of its mutualists faced with the law case. It is worth mentioning that these legal minds don't play the role of lawyers. Hence, each mutualist will have to hire a lawyer to defend a case in court. In order to benefit from this huge advantage, one must be a mutualist who is up to date with the Maso contribution. When faced with a law case, the mutualist will have to write a request and deposit at the Maso pool located at the Renapro Finance SA in Kwabang branch. The mutualist must bring alongside Maso identification form. It is important to note that these services are free of charge.
Indeed, Frenwick Crispin. Act 3 of the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity MASO, there will be an introduction of household equipment to permit mutualists to be able to have a comfortable home for a decent living. In an excerpt of an interview granted to Royal FM, Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel explains why the introduction of such item. Let's listen to Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel in this second except selected for us by Abel Balasamari.
Quand nous avançons, nous tenons des séances de travail, nous rencontrons des mutualistes.
As we are moving forward, we are holding working sessions. We gather the opinion of mutualists, we discuss with them. It is their proposal in function to what they are living. You know, it is easy for me at a certain point in time. Someone says, I cannot have a television set. I leave the house at 6 a.m. I return at 8 p.m. The little I have is to eat. And from time clothe myself, dress up my children to the very least, my wife, pay rent. But to put together 80,000 francs CFA, 100,000 francs CFA, it is not possible. At first sight, you would think that it is a joke, but they are realities. I take my case. It happens to me that I could go for 3 years and with my son, because at that time I had a son. I could not have 50,000 francs in hand, but we were living. I was going out in the morning and come back in the evening. You see, when the person says this, I find myself in what he is saying. I even think that when I found myself like that, I said to myself that we should continue to open up, to increase the offer in function of the needs of mutualists. So they are the ones who tell us what they need, tell us which offer they need, because you know, development is all about the building, the big road, all of that. It is good development. But for us, development, to be simple, is first of all the amelioration of the living condition. Because you have all the roads and building, but when someone is hungry, automatically we find ourselves in a hostile environment. We have to lay down a development approach, which is ourselves. That is to know if my neighbor is hungry, is he already awake? Has he treated himself? Does he have clothes? That is for me development. I mean social development, essentially to make sure that us who are here, that everyone can at least have the basic fundamental needs. Once we have the rest,
s'accommoder et trouver des éléments propres à nos réalités qui permettent à ce que chacun soit épanoui.
The promoter of the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity, Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel, speaking there.
MASO, that was the special page in the news.
And on to one of our lead stories, the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, and wife, Mrs. Chantal Biya, left the country to France today, where they will take part in the France Economic Summit that opens in Paris tomorrow, June 22, 2023. This visit comes following an invitation from French President Emmanuel Macron, who equally invited other countries to converge on Paris to forge a new global financial pact. And for today's news, a political scientist evaluates the stakes of this summit and Cameroon's invitation. Let's listen to Henry Severin Asimbi.
The head of state, President Paul Biya, is going to the Economic World Summit of France, organizing on the new financial agreement with country, because our country is in economic difficulty. And when you have economic and financial difficulty, you are able and it is recommended for you to go everywhere they talk about financial agreement. The France is passing an economic and financial crisis, and President Macron is finding all around the world when he can have partners, if he can renew the partnership with Francophone country, when we know that Francophone countries are looking away, are looking for Russia, are looking for America, are looking for China, are looking for India.
And still to come in this news edition, the French ambassador in charge to promote the rights of transgender, lesbian, bisexual, and gay has been vehemently prohibited to pay working visits in Cameroon so as to enhance such practices. But just how do some Cameroonians welcome this news?
The minister was not supposed to come out with a communique. It's simple. At the level of the Cameroon embassy in France, they were not to issue him a visa. He ends there. When he refuses a personality a visa to enter into a country, he ends the story. It is not a news-making event.
If you are just tuning in, thanks for joining us on 88.4 Royal FM for the 2 p.m. news. The French ambassador for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights, Jean-Marc Berton, has been vehemently prohibited to land on Cameroon soil on Tuesday, 27 of June 2023, for debate conference on sexual orientation and identity that was supposed to be organized at the French Institute of Cameroon. The information is contained in a correspondence from the Minister of External Relations addressed to the Minister of Territorial Administration last Monday, 19 of June 2023. In the letter, the minister said his ministry has not approved LGBT activities because it goes against Cameroon's law, and in line with the prohibition of the visit of the French ambassador for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights. Christian Mandus sought to know from some Cameroonians on one hand and from a human rights activist on the other what analysis they do in regard to this decision. She compiled this report.
To begin, the Minister of External Relations was not to publish a communique that prohibited the visit of the French ambassador to Cameroon, according to Mafani, a Cameroonian.
The minister was not supposed to come out with a communique. It's simple. At the level of the Cameroon embassy in France, they were not to issue him a visa. He ends there. When he refuses a personality a visa to enter into a country, he ends the story. It is not a news-making event. If you think somebody is coming to Cameroon to preach activities that are against the laws of the land, don't grant him a visa. How would he get to Cameroon?
Nevertheless, Fortune, another Cameroonian, expressed her joy in regard to the publication of this decision.
I'm very happy that the Cameroonian government has prohibited it, because I don't know what they were going to come and do here. We don't need that in our country. It's not legalized. It is not even authorized. So we don't even want to talk about it, whether they are lesbians or whatsoever. Let them stay with it in their country.
Knowing that the law of Cameroon condemns all forms of homosexuality, it is but normal that the government rejects the French ambassador visit. Ateki Seta is a human rights activist.
The Penal Code of Cameroon does not currently consider legal lifestyle that is acceptable in Cameroon. So I think what the government was doing was simply communicating this position to the French embassy in Cameroon. I think this is something that has to be respected, because Cameroon is also a sovereign state that has its own laws and values.
The human rights activist further adds that to avoid all sorts of misunderstanding, this decision should be better explained.
I think there is a constant need for us to be able to have conversations around this question and clarify why Cameroon has chosen the position it has chosen, and so people can understand. The approach should not be that of simply not just rejecting, but also trying to get people to understand why you have taken the position you have taken, and they should be able to respect that position.
Worth noting that the minister, Lejeune Belambela, renewed the assurance of his high consideration to the French ambassador in Cameroon.
Christian Mando in that report. And knowing that political analysts have been pouring diverse opinions in line with the working visit of the French ambassador in charge of same-sex and transgender rights, our newsroom cornered a political analyst to analyze the government firm banning of this working visit and the impact it may have on Cameroon-France bilateral relations. A.D. Kingsley attempts an answer in the following excerpt.
For once, I congratulate Minister Mbela for external relations. Kudos for what he has done. Honestly, that is what a minister who is serious and level-headed should do. That was just a gentle way, because for me, I would have taken a radical decision that he should not even step his legs in Cameroon. But if they say, okay, he can come, but should not carry out activities related to LGBTQ, okay, ça va. But for me, I would have said vehemently, no, don't even come. I cancel your visa. But thank God we have a good minister who stands on his decision. He has written to the Minister of Interior too, that is Paul Atanganji, to be aware that a person like that should not be promoted in Cameroon. So it's a good thing. It is not every day we see ministers who are audacious enough to stand against things like this. So congratulations, Mr. Minister. Cameroonians are behind you. We love the step you have taken. It's a step in a good direction. We can only support it.
The political analyst Eddie Kingsley further emphasized on how will be the diplomatic relationship between Cameroon and France following this banning of the French ambassador in charge of LGBTQ rights walking visit in Cameroon.
What does it gain us to be enemies to God and friends to man? If we can be enemies to France because we refuse lesbianism and homosexuality in our country, so be it. What can we gain? First of all, think about what we will lose if we endorse that kind of thing in Cameroon. If we endorse it, any other country that is level-headed will deny us, and therefore 80% of the world will be enemy to Cameroon because of accepting lesbianism and homosexuality. So instead, denying it, we stand with the 80% and rejecting the 20% who are standing for. Because apart from France, some other countries too endorse it. So let them go to countries where they endorse it. What are we doing with the relationship? If the relationship is about LGBTQ, let them stay away.
The bilateral relationship between Cameroon and France has raised a lot of funds through partnership that have been signed and set up, most especially in the economic sector. The economist Chabi Protus here now examines the outing of the Minister of External Relations in line with the French Ambassador Jean-Marc Berton's visit, if this move can lead to economic consequences.
Whether is it going to have an impact on our economic partnership with France, I don't really think so. The reason being that France is a trading partner to Cameroon, but not a major trading partner to Cameroon. And so it's not going to have any significant impact on trade relations between Cameroon and France. I think it's true, the pressure might be enormous for countries, African countries, Cameroon inclusive, to accept and legalize these same-sex relations. The pressure might be enormous, might even have maybe trade pressures, but they know that we have rules, they know that we have policies, they know that we have, they know our position as a nation, and so it cannot really be possible for them to impose some certain practices to us that do not align with our own vision, that do not align with our own human values. And so the banning of the visit is not going to have any significant effects on trade between Cameroon and France, because besides France, Cameroon has other trading partners, major trading partners that Cameroon is dealing with.
And on to something else, Cameroon medium-term economic and budgetary programming document covering the period 2024-2026 has been examined at the cabinet meeting for the month of June. The session, chaired by the Prime Minister, Head of Government Chief Dr. Joseph John Guti, was to prepare budgetary provisions in view of the fifth budgetary orientation in Parliament during the ongoing session. Here now is the Minister Delegate in the Ministry of the Economic Planning, Paul Tasson, who represented his minister by presenting major orientation for investments.
Level of priority number one is to focus and complete the projects underway within the next 3 years. Second level of priority is to include in the project dashboard projects which are mature, which are ready to take off if the resources are available. The third level of priority is to continue to pay attention to the needs of Cameroon.
Cameroon today joins other nations across the world to celebrate World Music Day under the theme Music on the Intersection. The day is intended to pay tribute to music, something which plays a significant role in everybody's life. The first Music Day was celebrated On the day of summer solstice in 1982, the events took place in Paris at Fête de la Musique. Our student intern Aisha Muhammadou caught up with some Cameroonians to find out how important music is to them and what they think of music nowadays. She compiled their opinions in this vox pop.
For me, in Cameroon, music nowadays has no meaning as compared to the music of the 1990s. If I take, for example, such music such as Le Car qui part, Couler la Petite, Ça sort comme ça sort, all of this, there is no meaningful message that is being transmitted to the population. But you compare it with the music of the 1990s, where the message is being transmitted, you get the sound, you get what people sing. But now, people just get into music in Cameroon like just to have money and fun. There's no message that is being transmitted.
I have never seen a woman like you, baby. That's why I want you. That's why I need you, baby. Oh. Music is something that I've always loved. Like, music is the only thing that can take me out of some certain situations. Music is life. Like, somebody who says that he doesn't love music should not be existing on this earth. Yes, I insist, should not be existing on this earth.
Music is very important. It's an other is very important to us. Why? Because even when you're angry, you're in a bad mood, you're listening to music. Immediately your mood can just change like that, especially when it's a music that you like. So I think celebrating Music Day is very important because it also brings us back to our roots, to our culture.
Onto our societal page, holidays are about midways gone and parents are exploring various options to keep their children busy. According to some parents, they have opted to send their children to the village, while others prefer to register their children for holidays classes. During our series, our student intern interviewed some of these parents and compiled the following voice pop.
I'll send my children in the village so that they should give me a bit of air. Also, let me prepare about their school. They should go and meet their grandmother so that they will learn the village life and the village language. Because in Yaoundé, it's just few people that they are talking the village language to their children. So that is a reason, and there's many reasons so that they should go and learn also to go to the farm to learn many things in the village. Because the village life is different for the one that we are living here.
On the question of sending my children anywhere, I would say I wouldn't, because holidays is not just a time to have fun. It is also a time to better oneself. It is a time to develop and acquire much more skills. So for me, during these holidays, I will keep my kids home, but they will be going for classes throughout the holidays.
For me, holiday is a period to rest and relaxation from bookwork. So children should not be sent for holiday classes, but instead they should involve them in different activities like music school, where they learn how to manipulate music instrument and of course sing.
Some Cameroonians reacting to the employees of the National Laboratory of the Civil Center, in abbreviation Labogini, have gone on strike at the company's headquarters in the Ekono neighborhood in Yaoundé. Their grievances are both social and professional. One of these workers spoke on the microphone of our reporter Claude Baoken, explaining the raison d'être of this strike action. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
We came this morning and we discovered that a list has been posted at the gate, at the entrance of Labogeni, reclaiming workers not to come in, some workers. And this has been as a result of the malfunctioning of issues in the house, because the workers are reclaiming some rights that has been taken away from us. And we just want the administration to work in line with us and give us back those rights that belongs to us. And some of these rights are, some people are going on without salaries, and some, the delegates have been transferred to different areas as a result of punishment. And in other cases, we have issues to solve in the house with respect to our different administrative regards. So in this case, we don't know. We tabled a forum for negotiation with the administration, but the administration never complied with us. So workers have decided to go on strike. So we made a pre-avis for strike. We have not yet on strike. We made a pre-avis for strike, and as we deposited the pre-avis for strike at the delegation of labor, and he was convoked and then convoked some delegates and the labor itself to make a tripartite discussion, which we hold on the 22nd of this month. But on coming coming this morning, we discovered that those that signed the pre-avis note has been blocked out of the gate, saying that until the negotiation is done, before he will take further notice about the situation.
Away from Cameroon, U.S. President Joe Biden has called Chinese President Xi Jinping a dictator at a fundraising event in California. His remarks came a day after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met Mr. Xi Jinping for talks in Beijing, which were aimed at easing tensions between the two superpowers. Mr. Biden also said Mr. Jinping was embarrassed after an alleged Chinese spy balloon was shot down by the U.S. And in sport, let's welcome our reporter Evans William Jobati, who has our sport package. Hello, Evans.
Hello, the German.
The just ended Judo Abidjan African Open 2023 has seen our Judo Lions emerge overall third, Williams.
They are the junior and the senior Judo selections, both male and female categories, who were ranked third out of the 27 African countries in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. The competition, which started on June 17 and ended on the 18th same month, saw Team Cameroon gain a total of 6 medals, 2 gold, 1 silver and 3 in bronze at the delightment of the president of the Cameroon Judo Federation, FECA Judo, Master Alain Christian Kinge, as he recounts in this excerpt granted to the state media.
We have 3 gold medals, 4 bronze, 1 silver, and it's very, very good for us because we prepare the future competition like Game of Francophonie and African Cadet and Junior Championship in Madagascar on July. We have also to prepare a World Championship of Cadet on August, and it's very, very good for our federation because the athletes did a good job like Baba Machama. We get 2 gold medals in junior and in senior category. Also, Dengue Mone Georgica, minus 78 kilogram. We get 1 gold medal, and we have Etoile Bioko de Janet in 63 kilograms.
As for football, Young Sports Academy organized a friendly match with PWD of Bamenda to demand for a modern stadium in the Northwest region.
The encounter between these two elite Bamenda clubs was to first of all congratulate PWD Social Football Club of Bamenda for their brilliant performance so far in the Cup of Cameroon this year. The main organizer, Julie Young, wanted to also use it as an opportunity to make demands alongside supporters for a modern field in the area, which she believes will greatly improve clubs from the Northwest region's performance in the national and international competitions, as she speaks in this interview.
Juliana Nana, but my popular name so long as football is concerned is Julie Young. I thought of this match when we went to Douala for our last match against Edin. So when we qualified and beat Edin by 2-0, when we came back to base at Bonaberi, we had some meals. Then I just dropped our idea that we should organize a survival match for these two teams because for the last 2 seasons we have suffered a lot. We need a stadium in Bamenda. For the past 2 years, we have been struggling relegation because we have no home advantage. We cannot be playing Canon in Yaoundé, playing Bambutus in Bundat, Ale Retun, they we expect to win. If not of that, we have 2 tough teams in Bamenda who will not have survived this year. So we need a stadium in this town.
Meanwhile, the semi-final matches of the Cameroon Cup have been programmed for Saturday, 24 June 2023 at the Bepanda Annex Stadium. At 1:30, Foru of Baham will be confronting Colombe of Jar and Lobo, while at 3:30, English side PWD of Bamenda will take on regional league side Start FC of Banjul, Germany.
Thank you, Evans Williams. But let's know how the news summary in the French language with Florent Goyam. Good afternoon, Florent Goyam.
Bon après-midi, GERMAINE TAH. Masso acte 3, plus que 18 jours avant la cérémonie du tirage au sort du 9 juillet prochain au Palais Polyvalent des Sports de Yaoundé. Plusieurs lots seront distribués aux mutualistes à jour de leur cotisation annuelle, lesquels bénéficieront aussi de nombreux avantages offerts par la mutuelle d'assistance et de solidarité. Rappelons que la date butoir des cotisations et souscriptions de l'acte 3 de la Masso est le 9 juillet prochain à 16h, et ceci dans toutes les agences Rénaprove Finance SA du pays. Le Cameroun se joint au reste du monde ce 21 juin 2023 pour célébrer la Journée mondiale de la musique. Un événement tenu dans un contexte chrysogène à la Société nationale camerounaise de l'art musical, où gestionnaires et artistes peinent à accorder leur violon sur la gestion des droits d'auteur. À l'étranger, Sierra Leone, des médiateurs essayent de faire retomber les tensions à 4 jours des élections législatives, municipales et présidentielles. Ces tensions, de plus en plus vives, concernent le principal parti d'opposition et la commission électorale. Les médiateurs invitent cependant les différents acteurs politiques au dialogue. Enfin, sport football, le Burundi s'est imposé hier 3-2 face à la Namibie dans le cadre de la 5e journée des éliminatoires de la CAN Côte d'Ivoire 2024. Désormais, dans ce groupe C, où le Cameroun est à égalité de 4 points avec son adversaire de septembre prochain, à savoir le Burundi, il va falloir impérativement une victoire ou un nul, ce qui faciliterait les chances de qualification du Cameroun à la phase finale de la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations 2024 en Côte d'Ivoire.
And that news summary puts a wrap on our 2 p.m. news on 88.4 Real FM. Humiali Kume was a sound technician, video editor Jean Mariotou, producer Eratus Dwe, editorial coaching Abel Bella Samari, coordination Jean Pasantala, general supervision Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel, news editing and presentation have been Germaine Tah. Up next is Sport Out. Good afternoon, Abel.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Germaine Tah. Good afternoon to all the listeners of All Reality 8.4 FM.
So what are we going to be expecting in this program, Sport Out?
We talk a lot when it comes to sports. We are going to cross-examine what is happening in Cameroon football. We also end up with an expert that lives in the United States of America that will also be digging in a bit of an analysis of why football now is turning to Saudi Arabia. That is what will animate in the next 2 hours when we join our experts and other crews when they join me in the program Sport Out today.
Dear listeners, you have these and more only on Real FM 88.4. Good day.
Ensemble, oui, la main dans la main.
Pokeya